A trip to Quebec for the Concacaf Champions League. We're into the second leg of the round of 16 as Club de Foot Montreal take on Santos Laguna from Liga MX in Mexico. Welcome into commentary of this one. Chris Whittingham here as you have a look at the conditions in Montreal. It's 12 degrees Fahrenheit outside, but inside in the Olympic Stadium, ideal conditions for the game, if not quite ideal conditions for Santos Laguna in their trip to Canada as they move into Canada on Sunday night. Let's have a look at the bracket here. Earlier tonight, New York City FC punching their ticket into the quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Champions League. The fixture to watch for either of these teams is in the bottom right corner, currently heading back to Mexico City. It's Cruz Azul 1, Forge FC of the Canadian Premier League 0. Second leg will come later, as we can now take you through the highlights of the first leg of this one, played in Torreon, as Santos Laguna and Club de Foot Montreal beginning their Champions League campaign. Santos Laguna yet to win in Liga MX through 6 matches, and Montreal would score first early in this one, getting the vital away goal, or so they thought through Romel Kyoto. But in the build-up, the foul coming from Lassi Lapalainen, the Finn, on Alan Cervantes, and the goal would be disallowed for a foul in the build-up, and then the chances would come. You'd have Eduardo Aguirre with a couple of opportunities. Well done there by Sebastian Breza, the goalkeeper for Montreal. Then on 38 minutes, the header at the near post. Well dealt with again from Aguirre, who had a couple of chances in this one. Breza again up to the challenge. Then on 49 minutes, sliding across the face of goal, there was El Preciado. Aguirre again there on the doorstep to try and challenge before the goal would finally come on 88 minutes. Cutting inside was Fernando Gorriaran, and there to apply the finish was the substitute, Jesus Osejo, that has Santos 1-0 to the good, heading into this second leg in Montreal. And Santos pleasing their home supporters with the win in all competitions for the first time in 2022. At the weekend, at the very least, snapping a 4-match losing streak with a draw against Juarez away from home. But it is still very much a struggle for Santos, and those struggles continued in their trip to Canada. They arrived in Canada on Sunday, then found out that their manager, Pedro Caixinha, tested positive for COVID-19. He will not be on the bench. In his stead will be Rafael Figueroa, one of his assistants. So you have that news. Then they find out on the Tuesday that the game will not go ahead. This match is meant to be played last night here at the Olympic Stadium, but the forecast called for freezing rain, and despite the fact that this is an indoor facility, they do protect the roof here in the case of conditions, and thus they decided, the local authorities did, to not play the game here at the Olympic Stadium due to conditions in Montreal. And so some of those very Santos Laguna fans who are in the crowd had to prolong their stay an extra night, as did the players, who have had to train indoors in their team hotel due to, again, that very same freezing rain. The conditions in the area were not amenable to Santos Laguna. Every bit the difficult trip that away in CONCACAF is meant to be. But now Montreal, the ones applying the pressure. Normally it's a trip to Mexico. That is the problem for MLS sides. Montreal representing one of the 4 teams in MLS who have reached the final of the CONCACAF Champions League, as they did back in 2015. These 2 teams actually did meet in the competition all the way back in 2009 while the club was still in the USL. Montreal actually won the first leg at home by 2-0, as is often the case for American-based teams, or North American-based teams that travel to Mexico. The story very quickly flipped as Santos Laguna won that second leg by 5-2. Some of the substitutes filing out. We also saw Wilfried Nancy, the Club de Foot Montreal manager, in his second season in charge of this club. Said to our reporter ahead of this one, the approach early does not change because they need to win the game and chase the game. But things can change very quickly in this tie, very much on a knife's edge. Montreal wouldn't be too displeased with the 1-0 result despite conceding the late goal. However, if Santos Laguna get an away goal, Montreal will have to hit for 3. And here are both sets of players and our matchday referee, led by a Costa Rican official, and Juan Gabriel Calderon, as are his 2 assistants, Juan Carlos Mora and William Arrieta. Victor Wanyama, former Tottenham Hotspur man, leads out this Montreal team as club captain. Carlos Acevedo, the goalkeeper for Santos Laguna, will get the armband tonight. He was linked in the January transfer window with a move to Bayer Leverkusen in Germany, a move that ultimately did not come to fruition. One of many talents that have come through the system at Santos Laguna, a club that prides itself on youth development. I do trust the youth tonight in the shape of Omar Campos, who will start at left back this evening at his 19 years of age. One of the 2 more engaging second legs to come here in the CONCACAF Champions League, kicking off at 8:15 Eastern, as you have Montreal taking on Santos Laguna here at the Stade Olympique in Montreal. You also have Colorado Rapids home to Comunicaciones, that one being played in frigid conditions in Commerce City, Colorado, with the Rapids 1-0 down heading into the second leg. As we get stuck into the starting lineups for this one, 2 changes made by both teams. Starting first for Club de Foot Montreal, Rudy Camacho comes in that back 3. He'll enter for Gabriele Corbo, who made his debut for Montreal in the first leg in Torreon. Ismael Kone comes in for young Rida Zuhir, who had a tremendous debut in the first leg, as he moves to the bench. As you mentioned, our matchday referee is Juan Gabriel Calderon, representing Costa Rica here in this CONCACAF Champions League. Victor Wanyama and Carlos Acevedo handling the coin toss. Both sets of players will trot out onto the pitch, as we can now bring you the starting lineups for Santos Laguna. Again, 2 changes for them as well, both in defense, with Franco Pisicillo coming in at right back. Ismael Goea will move into the center of that back 4. Hugo Rodriguez comes in for Felix Torres Doria, also unavailable for selection. VAR room is active for this one, as well as video assistant referee is active for this competition, as it came through in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying round back in January. There a look at the bench for Santos Laguna, which is without its leader tonight, Pedro Caixinha, who was appointed ahead of this tournament, tested positive for COVID, and thus does not get onto the bench. For Montreal, a chance to turn around the result from the first leg, which saw them lose by 1-0. Was turned in by the Santos substitute, Jesus Osejo, who is again on the bench tonight. Wilfried Nancy will send his players out, try and advance to a quarterfinal where they could potentially meet Cruz Azul of Mexico or Forge FC of the Canadian Premier League. We're ready for kickoff here at the Stade Olympique. A day later than was planned, Club de Foot Montréal hosts Santos Laguna for the second leg of this CONCACAF Champions League tie. And for Montreal, they've yet to begin their club campaign. Or their league campaign. They will do so at the weekend against Orlando City. But a massive round of 16 second leg that could be one of the biggest games they play all year before they even start their league regular season. That's very much the nature of MLS in the CONCACAF Champions League. Two massive fixtures. A lovely turn on it there from Rudy Camacho. He'll try and play the long ball over the top here. Lapalainen appears to be onside. He'll attempt to square it in the path of Joaquin Torres, but cleared away for a corner to Montreal. It's a nice early ball over the top and a good cameo there from Camacho. Lapalainen timing his run well as well and tried to go outside of the boot towards Torres, who was expecting that one to come to him, but just didn't quite. The corner to be taken by Georgi Mihailovic. Here it is in towards that 6-yard area. Headed away there from Santos, trying to take it down there. Kone, edge of the D, but now Santos will look to break. A chance here to get forward, scanning over either shoulder, Brian Lozano. And a heavy challenge coming in from Joel Waterman, who will anchor the back three tonight for Montreal. And he'll receive a talking to from referee Calderon. And Lozano's almost inviting the contact there by slowing down in transition. Didn't really have too many options. And the Uruguayan, who missed over a year with a tibia and fibula fracture, back to featuring regularly for Santos Laguna. Shaking off the injury that came into his left hand. Must have been breaking that fall straight away at his left hand. For Santos, this competition does provide welcome relief from the early stages of their league campaign, which sees them right now one of only 2 teams in Mexico that have yet to win any of their first 6 matches. They get a draw at the weekend that snapped a 4-match run that were all defeats. First win of 2022 coming here in the Champions League, a late winner against Montreal a fortnight ago. Again, it's long over in behind in towards Mihailovic, but the bounce favoring Acevedo, who leaps to claim. Roll on here for Goea, the player who moved from Atlas in Liga MX to Montreal, intent on applying that forward pressure. Stepping to win the header there, Kamal Miller. Made a real leap forward in 2021. He said so himself. He's become a regular in the Canada national team, as it's route one on both ends. As Miller that time able to track it down, but Gorriaran there to pick his pocket. Tries to slide in behind quickly. The early attempt at the strike, not quite clean there. Settles kindly for Breza. Attempt from Preciado, not quite the strongest. Now the press will come the other way. Joe Waterman. Camacho clears. Trying to find the young Argentinian Joaquin Torres, who exercised an option to buy. Newell's Old Boys in Argentina. Famous clubs. Argentina Primera is caught on it there was Miller, but it's a foul in the judgment of the referee as Aguirre is trying to harry Kamal Miller. There is Ismael Kone, who trained with the club for all of 2021, but signed a professional contract until later in the year due to the pandemic. As you see, Aguirre has to receive a talking to. Joel Waterman, involved as he was in that earlier counter-attack with Lozano. Lapalainen. Needed a permanent transfer from Bologna. the other club owned by Joey Saputo, the owner of Club de Foot Montreal, as Kone has given it away. Aguirre trying to find Gorriarán in the overlap there. It's well dealt with by Montreal, who try and break through Mihailovic. It's ball up towards Kyoto. Trying to loop it round the defender. Very much having to judge the flight and bounce of the ball on this surface. It becomes real bouncy. As Kone slides back. And down is Aguirre away from the ball. Eventually work his way to feet before the referee could stop play. Wanyama with a threaded ball in behind in towards Kyoto, but good reading of the game there by Franco Pisiccio. Steps in to intervene. He had only played his club football in Uruguay before moving to Santos in this window. Former player of Montevideo City. Cervantes. Does have previous as part of a CONCACAF Champions League winning side, lifting the trophy in 2018 with Chivas in Guadalajara under Matias Almeida. Gorriarán can break forward. Real influence in the first leg for Santos. Pisiccio on the overlap. Let's get the early cross away. Rather easily dealt with there by Miller. Started 7 of Canada's 11 World Cup qualifiers. Former Orlando City player is foul in the build-up there, resulting in a free kick for Montreal. Did go out in the quarterfinal of this competition in 2020. Won the Canadian Championship, the domestic cup tournament in Canada, to arrive at this point. Lapalainen. Inside here for Mihailovic, who appeared to be onside. For a moment lost his bearings and thought he might have been off, and it was cleared out of play. Just opened up there for Mihailovic. You see in the heart of that defense, being him onside there was Rodriguez. Mihailovic didn't recognize the threat. He will take the subsequent corner. Towards that near post, it's flicked on towards the back. Wanyama wasn't quite prepared. But flashing header there from Joel Waterman, but no response from his teammates in black and blue. Exactly the kind of 2 headers equals a goal kind of move there for Montreal from the set piece, but former Canadian Premier League player unable to combine. It's actually the first transfer from the CPL to MLS. Waterman, arriving from Cavalry FC. He's proved himself to be a solid contributor in MLS and a key part of this back line, which does undergo some change with Aliash Kiki Struna departing in the winter window. Mihailovic tries to judge the flight of the ball to win it, instead just lets it run here for Lapalainen. Camacho under pressure, turning away from Lozano, trying to just leave it there for Kone. See the player struggling with the weight to put on the ball as Wanyama will get out of his feet. On the run here of Mathieu Chaunière, goes for the early ball towards Kyoto, who gets to it first and tries to square it. He's done so from an impossible angle. Romel Kyoto has leveled the tie. On 9 minutes, Club de Foot Montreal are now well and truly in this round of 16 tie with Santos Laguna. It starts with the ball from Victor Wanyama. Chaunière goes for the early ball, good weight on it. Kyoto gets to it first, and you thought with the bounce that Kyoto had run out of real estate. Just tries to aim for that back post and gets the strike absolutely perfect. And Romel Kyoto the Honduran is there to draw this tie level. And we are now back to square one here. It's 1-1 in this round of 16 tie. Now then, could potentially be a check on here from VAR. But appears as though it is a good goal. Would have been a check perhaps for Chaunière, offside in the buildup. I don't believe Kyoto was. It's a good goal. And Montreal now in great position. Level at home. They got the early goal. You're not chasing. But now, how to manage the game. Do you keep going? Potentially leave yourselves vulnerable to an away goal, which would force you to score 2 more. Kind of take the game as is. Would have been a topic of conversation for Wilfried Nancy in the build-up to this one. All kinds of game states that can arrive from the away goals tiebreaker, which of course has gone away in the UEFA Champions League, but here in CONCACAF, the away goals tiebreaker remains. And what a start for Montreal here at the Olympic Stadium. Could potentially be the first MLS side to take out Mexican opposition in this edition of the tournament. Certainly their opposition are vulnerable. Kone turning on it, but nearly caught from behind. Still managed to pick out a lovely switch here for Lapalainen. Kyoto again making the run into the channel. Lapalainen and Wanyama steadying and trying to slide it out for Kyoto, who was caught flat-footed. Trickles out of play for a throw. And now for Santos Laguna, without their manager, they'll have to try and find a response. They might have set out to defend. How the mood changes. Mihailovic. Slide all the way back to goalkeeper Breza, who's way out from his own goal. Turns on loan from Bologna. I mentioned earlier that connection with Montreal and Bologna. Under the same ownership, the club in the Italian Serie A. Breza again won't take any risks and try and head out towards Torres. Taken down by Chaunière. Yama again going over the top. Kyoto trying to get round the defender. Well dealt with. But only as far though as Mihailovic. Rodriguez. Partners with Gouveia tonight in the center of defense. An entirely new central defensive partnership from the first leg in Torreon. Lapalainen. And Kone. This is from the crowd, not from our referee Calderon. Kone dispossessed and, well, did trickle out of play, and it will be a corner for Montreal. I felt like he was fouled there, Edgar Games. But despite the minimal pull there from Kone, no word there from the referee for Games. The referee just comes over to inspect to make sure the ball is marginally over that area by the corner. Mihailovic just played in the free header, and it was a decent opportunity as well. It was Camacho who came forward from at back 3 and had a good chance to put Montreal ahead in the tie. Plenty of power in it, but got underneath it, snapping his neck muscles that opened up for him, sailing over Acevedo's goal. Acevedo, not quite a towering figure in the goal, but only so positionally smart. That time, you could certainly question the positioning there when he's beaten to the ball by Kyoto for the game's first goal. line up a switch there, Cervantes, but wasn't really quite on. Is it for Campos? Preciado just gives it straight to Victor Wanyama. Tries to turn away from pressure, but instead goes into Gorriarán, the Uruguayan. Gives it back to Santos Laguna. Preciado trying to threaten him behind with the ball in towards Aguirre, but well positioned was Kamal Miller. Not only deal with the threat, but win a free kick for the home side. Quarter of an hour gone in Montreal. Already drawn level. Kone caught on it once more. Only a step up in level for him. It's over from Lozano out towards Preciado, whose strike is dealt with by Waterman. On the run forward here from Campos. Just to poke it out wide there towards the run of Cervantes, but take a nick on the way through. And it will be a corner. A couple of early mistakes there from Ismael Kone, the 19-year-old. Actually training with a couple of clubs in Europe before the pandemic began, then struggled to get his first team contract signed because of the pandemic. Certainly a career trajectory altered by COVID-19. Gets a start here in the Champions League. Swung out towards that back post. Cervantes there, but Miller taking no risks. He felt like his header came glancing off of Cervantes. Referee disagrees, and set piece defense will commence once more. It'll be Lozano who will trot over to take it. Mentioned that tibia and fibula fracture in that Apertura before that in 2019. 9 goals and 7 assists. 17 match period for Lozano was spectacular for Guillermo Almada Santos Laguna, but struggled to hit the height since, obviously, with a year and a half away from the game. In towards that penalty area, comes glancing out to Torres, who makes no mistake and clears his lines. That high bounce, again, tough to judge. That time for Gorriarán. It's away for a throw-in to Club de Foot Montréal. We were in it to make the MLS Cup playoffs a year ago until the final day. Suffering defeat and dropping all the way to 10th. That not quite capturing the picture of what was a positive step for this Montreal club. Started the year away from their home in Montreal. Eventually were able to get back to Canada in July. Started the season in their home matches in Fort Lauderdale, as it nearly came there for Kone. Felt like it was a handball, did Rodriguez, but nearly a chance there for the young Canadian. Acevedo play out from the back, finding Edgar Games. Ball long and rather aimless. And Lapalainen can take it down and try and charge forward here. It's drawing the attention of the 9 times capped player for Finland. Gorriarán trying to go early in towards Preciado. You see that desire to play that early ball. Montreal been up to the challenge thus far. This combination of Wanyama and Torres demonstrating their quality there in the middle of the park. Mihailovic. The Olympic Stadium, normally the early season home to Montreal during the winter period. Climate controlled conditions for moving into Stade Saputo for the majority of the season. Home of the Montreal Expos and, of course, the Montreal Olympics. Lapalainen. And Miller. Kone spots Chonier making a run in behind the defender. Does take it down and again tries the early cross. That time dealing with the danger. Campos tries to emerge with it. The shove in the back there from Chonier. Felt like it was shoulder to shoulder, but the assistant's judgment probably the correct one there. Kyoto's goal on 9 minutes. The difference between these two sides in the second leg, but merely the response from the goal in the first leg from Jesus Osejo. 88th minute of that tie. And now he will strike next. Kone. Just about enough to keep it around 2. Classy step there from Camacho as Kone goes to ground on the halfway line. Uncomfortable there for a moment. Chonier showing one way and going the other. See the range of passing that Kone possesses. Clean up touches in the middle. Rapalainen. Towards Kyoto, shouts for offside as he plays it into Mihailovic, drifts through, Mihailovic! 2-0 Montreal! And they have fully turned the tie around now. The bell rings on Montreal's CONCACAF Champions League life. And you can see the burst of energy coming through. It seemed like everything stopped there, and we'll certainly get a close examination of that pass into Kyoto, but what a finish it is from Mihailovic. Georgi Mihailovic with a class finish, and the first touch to burst around the defender in the build-up as well. But the question is, was Kyoto onside? For the moment, appears to be a good goal. And it is indeed. So Montreal are now in front here in this round of 16 tie. They've come firing out of the traps here. Even in the build-up to this tie, in the build-up to the season, Wilfried Nancy was talking about his side having created good chances last season, despite relatively small by comparison number of goals that they scored. Just needed to be more efficient in both boxes, really. Saying there was tap-ins available and soft goals conceded. Lapalainen tries to go early and pick out the run of Torres in behind. But tonight have been ruthlessly efficient with their chances. And what a turnaround here. Santos trying to finally summon a response. Half-heartedly going down in the area there was Campos. And it does result in a corner. Referee Wanyama very calmly approaching the referee. He felt like that was a goal kick rather than a corner. Swung into towards that 6-yard area, and Breza leaping to catch. Torres. Pull from behind there by Goea, and it will be a free kick to Montreal. News from the other tie in the Champions League. Comunicaciones are down to 10 men as Steven Robles sent off. So Comunicaciones remain ahead 1-0 on aggregate, but it is the Rapids who have the advantage playing at home, and now man advantage for close to 80 minutes in that one. Mihailovic, a couple of challenges coming in there, and he avoiding the second one that he knew was coming from Rodriguez. Instead just pokes it away for a corner. What a start it's been here from Montreal. %50 capacity here at the Olympic Stadium and making a real noise. And it is towards that 6-yard area. Header again is open there for Kyoto. Did take a little nick on the way through, but Kyoto's header still just over. The earlier headers for Camacho and Waterman, and right now Montreal doing very well in the air and from corners to turn one of them into goals. Mihailovic with a flicked-on header, and Lapalainen. Georgi Mihailovic, who finished second a year ago in MLS in assists with 16. Scored 4 times, but tonight looked like a ruthless finisher. He's taking advantage of the opportunity afforded to him by Montreal to kind of be the lead man. Felt like it was a step up for him what he was doing in Chicago for $1 million. He's taking advantage of the opportunity. At the moment, has Montreal poised to advance to the quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Champions League and knock out Mexican opposition in the process. Chonier just pointing out an issue, which is Kyoto away from the ball, being marked rather tightly by Gouveia. Kyoto and Chonier. Torres trying to get around the defender Campos, but did well to marshal it out of play. See the idea there for Chonier, but it's also remarkable, given that very light touch there from Chonier to get it over the defender, how much the ball moves and trickles on this incredibly quick surface. It is a free kick to Montreal. This trip for Santos to Canada already into day 4. They came in on Sunday night. Lost their manager to COVID. To train inside a hotel because of the weather in the area, and now find themselves 2-0 behind in what has been a fairly disastrous start to this campaign. Reached the Liga MX final in Guardianes 2021, which is how they are in this competition. So we're in a domestic league final. It's 9 short months ago, but 2022 Clausura campaign has not gotten off to the best of starts, both in league and now here in the Champions League. They flick there from Torres, but didn't quite play it out the other side. Gouveia. Montreal continue to come forward with pressure to at least make Santos uncomfortable before moving back into their shape. Apalainen tries to take down. And it's another foul against Santos. This time PCCO the culprit. Mihailovic again in control. He appears to be the player that has coped best with playing the ball in the air and off the bounce as well. Just allowed Pisiccio to go through him, and now step over this free kick and see if he can allow the aerial threats of Montreal to win once more. Torres drifting over to provide the short option. Draws a number out of the set piece defense. The cross does get whipped in. Miller is tracking it. It's still in the air. Out to punch Acevedo. Chonier was trying to track it, but it was Lozano there first. Kone now trying to get round a defender. Waterman did win the header, but it's Kone who's committed the foul. As Gorriarán has gone down. He's playing in Hungary before moving to Santos Laguna with Ferencváros. As Kone has cleanly won the ball back, and now we'll try and lead the charge. It's a touch around one defender, but Rodriguez didn't allow him to get through. But Chonier has won it back. Strong contest for the ball in the middle of the pitch. Chonier feels like he's won his side of throw-in, and the referee and the assistant agreeing with his assessment. Chonier putting in solid performance from that right wing back position and provided the ball in for the opening goal. Wanyama has the quality to take the sting out of the ball in the middle. Kenyon went to the Champions League final in Europe with Tottenham. Lost in that final by a goal to nil to Liverpool. Moving to Montreal as a designated player. Represents the only one in the club right now. Mihailovic. Oh, he got around the defender, but he got a bit too much there of Cervantes in the judgment, or rather Gouveia in the judgment of the referee. Could have rather easily been away. Yeah, a little pullback there of Gouveia. Leaping to try and get round. A surge of noise through the ground. As home supporters can feel Champions League triumph coming. Cruz Azul and Forge is the tie that determines the next round. This round of 16 tie. That one kick off tomorrow night with Cruz Azul going back home with a 1-0 lead to the Azteca. As Quioto now trying to put pressure on Gouveia. Perhaps a bit too much physical pressure there, rather than just letting the ball bounce. And a free kick coming for Santos Laguna as the crowd felt. Quioto there to win the ball. They've really got him out their business in every way here. On the ground, down Route 1. Just play on there with the contest between Cervantes and Chonier. Games. Pisiccio trying to play down the line, but it's come kindly there for Quioto. Try and press with the ball forward, tries to calm it down with Lapalainen, who's given it away. Camacho denying Preciado the chance to break and allowing Waterman the chance to recover. and headed away for a throw. A couple of bumps there from both, and Waterman now will calm down as Preciado went in one more time and has earned himself a booking for his efforts. And Joel Waterman also receiving one. So Preciado and Waterman for their friendly exchange. Both having their names taken by referee Calderon. Santos would appear to be setting up a long throw here through their Uruguayan right back, Franco Pisicillo. Miller doing a little hook out of the area, but it goes slicing away for a corner. Despite their advantage in the tie right now, Montreal, one concession would actually see Santos through to the next round on the away goal tiebreaker. As it's whipped into the air, it comes glancing through the header towards goal, is rather tame for Sebastian Breza to handle. As Santos again struggled to threaten the Montreal goal. A couple of shoves. And really the last one there comes from Preciado. Waterman doesn't really put too much in it, but I guess you can say it's part of escalating the incident. Waterman. And fouled off it there. Those two becoming well acquainted once more. Preciado and Waterman. Waterman just recognizing there that that could have really escalated. Kone. Wanyama into the space. Recognized that Mihailovic was making the run off his shoulder. Lapalainen. Ismail Kone. Mihailovic felt like it was going to go on for a corner. Acevedo was there first. Remarkably, this is Ismail Kone's first ever start for Montreal. First ever appearance. It's in the Champions League in a second leg when the player he replaced, Rita Zuhir, did put in a good performance in the first leg. Trust from Wilfried Nancy. Young Kone is Lapalainen in a real challenge there into Preciado. It's going to be a free kick here. Lapalainen not messing about. As the frenetic tempo appears to have slowed as his first half progresses. Swung in there from Lozano. Dealt with there by Montreal rather easily. Hard to think of a clear-cut scoring chance that Santos Laguna have created in these first 40 minutes, whereas Montreal have had their fair few beyond the goals. They've done well to win in the air, but right now it's the danger men up top, Kyoto and Mihailovic, that have the Canadian side, as it stands, progressing to the quarterfinal. Wanyama. Just launched forward there to no real aim. A real rethink required here from the Santos Laguna coaching staff, which is without Pedro Caixinha tonight. did win a league title with Santos Laguna back in 2015 in the Clausura. Not quite hit the heights so far. Beginning of his tenure here. Torreon for a second time. Away from Miller. Montreal appearing to take no risks before getting to halftime at 2-0 up. Gorriarán. Waterman away, but not fully clearing his lines as Cervantes can take down. This is Santos Laguna's 7th trip to the Concacaf Champions League. Could actually win, or rather finish as runners-up for 2 seasons in a row. Back in 2012 and 2013, those editions of the competition. As it's knotted on there. Threatening was Lozano, but come on, Miller was there to deal with the danger. Now Breza will just kill off some seconds, taking it all the way to the edge of the area. Eventually picking the ball up and forcing Preciado to come and chase him. So it takes him out of that initial line of press. Veteran tactics there from the 23-year-old. Slap a line and tries to go outside of the boot in towards Mihailovic, who didn't feel like he was going to get there. Rodriguez clearing, but Kone there. See, Santos players are ready to press that next pass, but composure on the ball from the Montreal players just to take a breath and recognize what the next pass is. For Kone there is Chonier. Wants to slide in and help his right wing back, who was put under a fair bit of pressure with not really too many options to play from. As we approach halftime at the Stade Olympique, Montreal having successfully overturned the first leg result in a mere 23 minutes. Now the job is to at least hold on, at best add to it. Chonier and Kone. Torres, who's not had too much of the ball in this one. Too much joy, but Montreal still able to find creative options despite their Argentinian not getting in the act. It's a strike from a long way out. Breza having to deal with the second opportunity as Orrantia let rip from a long way out. And the first real sign of danger for the Montreal keeper. Breza looked up to it. Earned his way into the team ahead of James Pantemis, who is on the bench tonight for Montreal. Did actually finish as MVP of the Canadian Championship, the tournament that Montreal won to get to this Champions League. And Toronto FC by 1-0 in the final as Mihailovic went up to try and win it. Went over Santos defender and landed in an uncomfortable manner. And has won his side a free kick, and looks like Gorriarán will have a talking to there. Kone. In behind and towards Lapalainen. First time Mihailovic, who could be in again, but Rodriguez that time covers. Mihailovic is probably one beat away from being able to settle the touch and settle for a finish. He runs into this channel here, and Lapalainen pokes it nicely into his path. The touch probably just taking him too central and allowing the room there for Rodriguez to come across. Would have been a spectacular ending to this first half if he could have applied the finishing touch to a 3-0 advantage. As it is, the scoreline suits Montreal just fine. Mihailovic to take the corner and towards that near post. Header away, but sets up here for Chonier. Only the frame of the goal to deny. And what would have been an absolute showstopper for Jean, who's feeling it. Another look at that volley, and he measured it well, didn't he? Almost exactly at the intersection of crossbar and post. The frame of the goal there to deny Quebecois right back, who's had a very good first half. Gorriarán with Wanyama trying to turn away from it, but it's won back there by Aguirre. Preciado. Pisicillo. Gorriarán felt like he was grabbed there by Miller. That combination led to the only goal in the first leg. Gorriarán getting around Miller, that time standing over the victim of his defense as we've reached halftime. And Montreal have put in an absolutely tremendous performance in the opening 45 minutes. Romel Quioto hitting for the opener to tie the aggregate score on 9 minutes. Less than a quarter of an hour later, there he is, Georgi Mihailovic, stepping perfectly into frame and stepping perfectly onto the ball. The smash home with his left foot. As you reach halftime with your score, Club de Foot Montreal 2, Santos Laguna 0 on the night. Montreal ahead by 2-1 on aggregate. And here are the first half highlights from this game at the Stade Olympique Montreal. Santos Laguna, and the early chance coming from a ball over the top there from Camacho. He recognizes the run that left wing back Lassi Lapalainen is making in behind. Tries to poke it square there for Torres, but clear from Ismael Govea. But the chances would continue to pour in for Montreal. This time Torres with a lovely floated ball out towards Lapalainen. And then work to cut inside. Mihailovic, who found himself in an onside position in the penalty area, didn't recognize the moment. But here would be the build-up for the goal. Victor Wanyama charging forward, playing it out for Chaudière, who would just go early. Play it into the space for Kyoto. He'll get there, and get there he did. And despite the impossible angle and the bend really on the ball away from goal, he still managed to find the back of the net, or rather the side of the net, kissing it in off the post. Tremendous work there from the Honduran Kyoto, as he puts Montreal in front. Then a free header for Rudy Camacho. Just unable to keep that one down. Plenty of power in it as well. And sensing a theme. A lot of chances for Montreal. Here would be the second goal. Miller, Kyoto, Mihailovic with a scorcher of a finish. Bang! Clipping the underside of the bar. Lovely touch to get round Rodriguez. Lovely finish. And Montreal would be 2-0 to the good. They would try and continue to pack on the pressure. Just before halftime, the volley from Mathieu Chaudière, bouncing off the crossbar. And not the third that Montreal might have been hoping for, but they could not have asked for more from that first half. They now lead on aggregate by 2-1. They lead by 2-0 on the night. Santos having won in the first leg in Torreon by 1-0. The away goals tiebreaker very much looms large. The shots and the shots on goal would appear to be in favor of Santos Laguna. Possession, not really that big of a difference, but that very much does not tell the story of the first half of this game of football. Montreal dominating from start to finish. Actually fairly remarkable that they're not credited for having a shot on goal, considering they hit the woodwork on both the post and then in, and then the crossbar and then in. But either way, Montreal won't care. They lead by 2-0 at halftime at Stade Olympique in this CONCACAF Champions League round of 16 tie. nearing kickoff of the second half at the Stade Olympique. Santos Laguna being put through their paces as they will need to mount a comeback. Although all they need is one to advance under the current scoreline. The conditions are Montreal leading by 2-0 in the night, 2-1 on aggregate. Kyoto and Mihailovic, the goal scorers. However, despite the fact that Montreal do lead, they did not score in the first leg in Torreon, and so Montreal be on the wrong end of the away goals tiebreaker were Santos to score. So one goal would force Montreal to score another to advance, and at that point the tie gets blown open. We will not have extra time or penalties. Because we did not match the scoreline from the first leg. So it's all to play for here in this second half, and straight away a halftime substitution as Leo Suarez will come on. And certainly a change in impetus required in that front line. And it will come in the form of the former America player, joined ahead of the tournament from the Águilas. Player who came through initially at Boca Juniors before moving to Spain via Real, Mallorca as well. And it is Edgar Gámez who makes way as we're underway in this second half. Santos Laguna now having to turn the tie around after they entered the Stade Olympique with the aggregate lead. All to play for here for these two sides. Montreal representing Major League Soccer. Santos Laguna representing Mexican top flight Liga MX. Finishes runners-up in the 2021 Clausura, dubbed Guardianes 2021, a tournament named after the healthcare workers that helped Mexico through the pandemic. It's an early cameo there for Suarez trying to pick out Preciado, making that run in behind. Camacho. Montreal did not make any changes at halftime, and why would they? Their first half dominance. Kamal Miller making a foray forward there from left center back. Back three. Shape can change. Certainly here at Stade Olympique, the nature of the pitch. Torres turning on it nicely. Bursting forward here, a Chonier to his right. Tripped up there by Govea. Now Mihailovic will step over this free kick. Swung in towards that back post. Wanyama rising to try and win. It's Camacho who will nod back. Kone. Esa just lets it come to him. Goalkeeper who registered 2 clean sheets and 8 MLS starts last year, enters this season as the favorite to be the #1. Torres dispossessed. Wanyama reading the subsequent ball there from Preciado, and you can see how quick the desire is from the moment Santos win the ball to try and get it forward. Direct as quickly as possible. Try and catch Montreal unaware. Nicely done there from Lapalainen. Slides it down the line here for Mihailovic, who can take it into space. Has options running with them. Mihailovic and Quioto. Romel Quioto for three. Good save there. Mihailovic tried to knot it home. Just couldn't get enough purchase on it. Dealt with by Santos in the end. Fantastic work there from Acevedo. And now there's more action down the other end as the referee is dealing with one incident between Mihailovic and Acevedo. Waterman again involved. And now more players needing to be separated. Kamal Miller not having it. Then Montreal will certainly prioritize keeping cool heads here. Can't afford to lose a man. Neither team can really, but Montreal are in the advantageous position. Shout is for VAR. And now a lot to deal with here for the referee, on Gabriel Calderon, as the technical staff there for Santos Laguna. Communication, and now a full check of multiple incidents here on VAR. The referee have a word with a few players. Is not pleased with one particular player's slow walk over. I think it's Miller. Gonna calm the temperature of this one. I think after consulting with the officials, it's another double yellow. We had one in the first half with Preciado and Waterman, and now it's Miller and Brian Lozano. Waterman again involved in Lozano pulling Waterman to the ground. Sees only a yellow card for his efforts. Perhaps a bit of a let-off there for Lozano. Interesting, though, that the referee doesn't go to the video monitor. He's consulting with the VAR and hands out yellows, presumably from a consult of the evidence from the video room. Flick there from Chonier, lovely skill, who's certainly playing with a good deal of confidence. Wanyama and Torres coming through to win the ball. Tricky feet from Kone as well. See, it's real quality on the ball. Slides it into Torres, who returns it for Kone, who comes bursting through. Here's Kone! And Acevedo standing strong yet again. First denying Quioto, and they're denying Ismael Kone to keep Santos Laguna in the tie. It was nearly the moment that opened up there for the debutant, as Govea felt like he was caught there by Wanyama. He poked it away, but a real scream coming from our pit side microphone. There's another look at the incident, or rather the chance. Torres into Kone, who got in behind Rodriguez, just tries to chip there. And Acevedo coming sliding out, making himself as big as possible, and sticking those gloves out to deny Kone, and what a chance it was. Throw in from Chonier into Torres. Just to switch the point of attack, but instead is started a counter-attack here for Santos Laguna. Preciado with Lapalainen coming back to slow down the opportunity. Switch ball is straight at Joel Waterman. Finds the out ball there with Lapalainen. A couple of big saves there from Acevedo. We look back on those as pivotal moments in this tie. Santos Laguna tonight without Doria, without Felix Torres, center of that defense, and they've been cut open on more than a few occasions. Kone. Bright young midfield players coming through at Montreal. Shape of Ismail Kone and Rida Zuhair. Miller. Nice touch to try and steady it for himself, and he does manage to hang on to it. Assured performance from him tonight than in the reverse fixture. Wanyama having to make amends for looking like he was going to lose the ball. Camacho, though, just settling things and picking out a great ball here for Lapalainen, but it just ran beyond him. He does manage to track around and win the ball back. Is clipped by Pisiccio. It's a free kick to Montreal. And it is Mihailovic over the free kick. One of the danger men and one of the goal scorers on the night. The Quebecois. Some air on it. Miller with the header. And it came glancing off the back of his head. Not enough power on it to really threaten Acevedo. Makes yet another second half save. Waterman felled by Gorriarán. Montreal continue to pack on the chances and again continue to win in the air. It's not just the center backs, it's the entire set piece defense there for Santos Laguna that is failing them at the moment. Kone. And it will be a throw in here. Kyoto. It's clipped there. Or rather has done the clipping. And it's going to be yellow here as he caught a healthy amount there of Leo Suarez. And it is Romel Kyoto who has his name taken. There is the yellow shown to Kyoto for his efforts there. Suarez, the substitute, hasn't really been involved a great deal since coming on. Acevedo takes the free kick. An easy win there for Waterman. Now Suarez gets a chance to run at the defense, gets round. Waterman goes to ground, but was looking for it, and the judgment of the referee. Waterman, who is on a yellow card, and I think was very careful there to avoid the contact. It's just smashed out of play there by Cervantes. Seems like the referee is trying to get a message, or rather the coach Santos Laguna there was trying to get a message to Leo Suarez as referee Nancy is having a real go at the fourth official here, presumably for something that was said in his general area. As a free kick away from the ball as well. Torres caught. A little bit extra there. You see Nancy, one department, having a go at the fourth official. And his coaching staff coming to the defense there. Torres will be helped to his feet by the referee. It's becoming a hotly contested second half here. Suarez thought for a moment that Mihailovic's touch represented the ball being put back in play. Mihailovic tries to switch it, instead plays it straight at Suarez, but Montreal able to win the second ball. Wanyama for Waterman. Nice play to work themselves out of trouble there for Montreal. Torres, lovely skill, has Mihailovic running into the channel. No, looks it into him. Incredible skill there. Mihailovic squaring it, arriving there. Kone, who makes amends for the earlier miss. And Ismael Kone, on his debut, might just have sent Club de Foot Montreal to the quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Champions League. And what a finish, and it all starts there with the skill of Torres, who no-looked it into Mihailovic. He saw the back post. Torres looked like he wanted it, but that was only for Ismael Kone. Mihailovic getting his head up to pick him out and has the goal gaping. And Montreal, who started this game (1-0) down, are now 3-1 ahead. And a little gritty as well for Ismael Kone. And on his full Montreal debut, at 19 years of age, has scored and could have honestly had another, if not for the save there of Acevedo. But there could make no mistake. And what a performance this has been from Montreal. MLS teams entered this Champions League 9 for 51 in home-and-home ties against Mexican opposition. And tonight, Montreal might just get 10 series wins in home-and-homes with Mexican opposition in a tournament where MLS is still looking for their first ever win in the Champions League. Montreal has taken out one of the impediments, or at least they appear to have done so. Certainly can change over this next half hour. Miller away for a throw. You'd imagine now Montreal will look to preserve a shape and hit on the break. Or they could just keep pressing and keep opening up chances, as it will be a Montreal debut for Aleister Johnston, a player that the club acquired in the offseason from Nashville SC in MLS for $1 million, the Canadian international. He gets the chance to play for a club in his home country. He's appeared in every single World Cup qualifier for Canada in this octagonal round. As Santos are preparing a double change of their own. Waterman, or Camacho rather. Mihailovic trying to take off the chest but couldn't get to it. Suarez. Defense there from Lapalainen. The opportunity nearly opened up there for Aguirre, but his strike dealt with before it could get to Breza. And now there could be chances on the break here for Montreal. Torres. It's a good ball here for Chaunière. Drawing the attention of Campos. It's the hulking figure of Wanyama, able to keep it. Not in a position to cross. Leave it there for Torres, just didn't put enough on it. Cleared only as far as the substitute Johnston. Well handled by Kone, who will certainly feel quite a bit more confidence than he did in the first 15 minutes when he's caught in possession a couple of times. He's recovered nicely to the tune of a goal. As Montreal 3-0 ahead on the night, 3-1 ahead on aggregate. Finding Torres well around the defender, but a late challenge in from Gouveia, and he felt Joaquin Torres like he was gonna get around him. It is still away for a corner to Montreal, who will certainly be in no rush to take it. Gratification perhaps delayed 24 hours after a postponement of this game by a day due to freezing rain in the area as Mihailovic plays it into the penalty area. It's high there from Gorriarán. Torres with a lovely first touch just to take the sting out of it. Miller returning from Mihailovic. Just ran out of space there. Get his left foot wrapped around it. It trickles away for a goal kick, and now couple more throws of the dice here for Santos Laguna. Diego Medina, Jesus Osejo, who scored in that first leg. Introductions to come here. Lozano, who will make way for Osejo. Without their leader tonight, this Santos coaching staff, no Pedro Caixinha, tested positive for COVID. Wanyama. Franco Pisicillo, the player who made way for Medina. Bit of a nudge in there from Torres, so a free kick which is taken quickly down Route 1 there by Gorriarán. Johnston leaping there to win the header. A player from within MLS that Montreal have turned to build out the strength of this squad. Look at Kyoto arriving from Houston. Mihailovic arriving from Chicago. Kamal Miller joining from Orlando, and there Aleister Johnston arriving from Nashville. Switch there. It's the wave starting here in the ground as Breza will take the touch as Aguirre and Miller becoming acquainted. Looks like Jesus Osejo has gone straight up top. Like for like change there with Lozano. Eza hits it high. It's a heavy challenge in there from Campos, and Torres having a go at the referee that wasn't more. Knee into the back there of Chonier. Slow to get up. Omar Campos leading a little bit in here. Just a leap, and he catches his side. Camacho. Abelana trying to square it, but Gorriarán was there and ahead of Wanyama. It's on his side a throw. Santos have still to be terribly creative with their chances. Torres a step to win it. Leads the break here, 3v3. Got the pace to burn. Mihailovic tries to find Quioto on the back post. Just didn't find the angle right with his left foot. Rodriguez able to deflect it away for a corner. As now referee points to his watch and says, let's get on with it. Towards Georgi Mihailovic. Swung it towards the near post. Miller was there, but it's headed away as far as Chonier, who doesn't test his luck for a second time. After hitting the crossbar in the first half from a similar range, Wanyama's cross headed away. Torres got a touch and a second one. And Wanyama is able to poke it on there for Torres. Camacho with a key involvement in there as well to keep possession for Montreal. Torres. All the way back here. Breza. The tie in this Champions League Wednesday remains level. And now we'll be heading to extra time. The Rapids and Comunicaciones. Colorado 1-0 up at home against 10 men. Now Suarez. Govea. Gorriarán. Santos continue to search for the answers. Easy intervention there for Camacho. Just clears his lines. Mihailovic waving his teammates to come forward and try and win it back. Try and cause Santos a problem as Uruguayan able to find Preciado. Kone got in there. Launches it clear. Settled now by Mrs. Rivas. Over the top trying to find Osejo. He's pulled Chonier to the ground. It will be a free kick to Montreal. Final throw of the dice there is David Andrade will enter for Santos Laguna. And it's Omar Campos who will make way. So all 5 substitutions used by Santos Laguna coaching staff. Were spoken for ahead of this one by Rafael Figueroa. And it's an all-hands-on-deck effort. With Pedro Caixinha away. Free kick. Taken quickly into Suarez. Pokes it on here for Preciado. Couldn't quite settle it. He's charging in on goal. As Torres is able to settle it with Chonier. With the 50% capacity in the ground. Announced it for 13,000 people here as we now have a double change. And coming here is a Club de Foot Montreal debut for Kai Kamara, who will enter here for Amel Kyoto. There was a thought ahead of this one that Kamara could be real useful if they needed a late goal, given his prowess in the air. So good for Colorado Rapids in the air. His 9th MLS club, 5th all-time in the MLS goal-scoring charts. And 37 continues his career here with Montreal as the other change sees Zachary Broguiar enter for Lassi Lapalainen, which I believe we'll see Mathieu Chonier switch flanks. It will indeed. He'll play from left wing back now. Kai Kamara's first involvement in a Montreal shirt sees him give away a free kick. Aleister Johnston winning the header. Another new signing into the side tonight. Wanyama losing it in the middle to Suarez. Pick out the run there on the far side of Aguirre, but Edu Aguirre never going to get there. And Chonier smartly letting the ball run out for a throw-in to Montreal. Just a quarter of an hour remaining to defend. 2-goal lead in the aggregate tie. Wanyama trying to find Torres. Fernando Cejo, though, is giving it to Kone. Lovely touches there. Good flick as well from Torres. Free kick given. Argentinian caught. You can see the quality that Ismael Kone has in center of midfield. Him and Suhir can make for quite a combo for years to come. Or perhaps players to be sold for lots of money if they can progress. Wanyama trying to get it out towards Chonier, just needed a bit more on it to get it round. Substitute right back Medina. As Miller lets it bounce but has Camacho for cover. That back three has barely put a foot wrong tonight. As Kone caught. A free kick given. The introduction there of Kai Kamara does have experience in the Champions League, although it's more than 10 years old. He was with Houston, actually back when there was a group stage in the competition. Houston in a run to the quarterfinal, which eventually saw them lose to Atlante, and of the Mexican top flight. Group stage game against Pumas. It was a 4-4 draw in which Kamara scored a brace. Chonier has gotten forward down the left, and more good defending there from Medina. It's not defending that Santos need right now. They gotta get forward, they gotta create chances, but it's not come easy for them. As Miller thought he won that header cleanly, the referee determined that he did not. First time in behind, Osejo to take down to try and add another goal in this tie. Johnston and Camacho doing just about enough. Osejo felt like it took a deflection, the 23-year-old. But it is over for a goal kick. It's flicked on there, but Kamara trying to win that second ball. It's a throw into Montreal. If they hang on, we'll face the winner of Cruz Azul and Forge FC of the Canadian Premier League. At the moment, that tie is 1-0 in favor of Cruz Azul as they head home to the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. Mounted to climb for the Canadian Premier League side, the Canadian MLS side tonight. Very much better against Mexican opposition. There's usually a concern in these ties about the last 10 minutes against Mexican opposition. It's when the fact that they're mid-season, having played 6 league matches, and MLS clubs have yet to appear in a league match. The advantage is there, but take a real overturning of the pattern of this game. See a huge surge here from Santos. Could still come. Aguirre laying off. Osejo looked like he's in behind, but Breza allowing Johnston to marshal the ball towards him and lumping clear. Santos actually entered this edition of the Champions League as the highest scoring team in the history of the competition. I think scored 141 goals. This is their 60th match in the Champions League. They've shown little signs of that here tonight as the referee insisting about where the free kick is taken on the halfway line. Delays what looked to be the start of a promising move. Gurriarán. Let's go straight out of play. Out for a goal kick, which Frinancy will be too mad about seeing delayed. Took over after a late decision last preseason from the then manager Thierry Henry to step down as manager of the club, giving continuity. I don't see a long-time coach at this club, the youth levels all the way up, taking over full management, and you can really see the ideas, the style of play last season, an improvement in the results. Not enough to see them make the playoffs, and now certainly claim a big result here in the Champions League, along with winning the trophy in the Canadian Championship. No doubt the signature wins in his era. Broguillard stepping forward, has the fresh legs to come forward as well. Finds Kamara, who's drifted into a wide position. Johnston has looked tidy and calm in his new team. Gurriarán volleying in behind. Decent touches there. Cause a problem. Mihailovic couldn't keep it. It's Rodriguez on there for Medina. Santos have not really been able to get too much out of their danger men, at least from the first leg, in Gurriarán and then Aguirre as Wanyama gets stuck in. Just hangs on to that one. Wanyama. Kamara, 37 years young, applying the pressure, and Broguillard has won it for him. Kamara, Zachary Broguillard trying to square it, just didn't get enough purchase on it. Wanted it right across the 6-yard area, Kamara. Still a good moment there. Could have resulted in more for Montreal. Continue to put in the hard yards. Potentially chase a fourth. Ceded possession, but they still maintain an aggressive posture about trying to win it back in moments rather than completely absorbing pressure. Roquillard dispossessed. Johnston won it, but only as far though as Gorriarán. Osejo. That's the cross away. Comes glancing through, shouts for handball, but rather half-hearted there from Aguirre. And Kone can take. Another lovely pass, this time finding Mihailovic. Chonier trying to dig down the line, and Mihailovic has gotten around the defender Medina. It's Kamara and Torres with him. Instead finds Chonier, squares it for Kamara, and just diving to get in the way there was Govea. It looked like an easy tap-in. The intervention to just about keep this tie alive. Suarez. Roquillard will just marshal it there to Breza. Montreal have had a few chances to really put the icing on the cake here, and Mihailovic, that's a lovely ball. He's just got to thread that needle there. You should say fair play to Govea. He falls to ground and really limits that window. Mihailovic has gone down. Certainly for the longer term, that would be a worry. Montreal, we're preparing a sub in Matko Miljevic. Potentially be coming on now for Mihailovic here. Now the medical team will trot over. Still 1-0 in Colorado in the Rapids and Comunicaciones. But we'll take you through key moments in this one. This was the second goal. Kyoto for Mihailovic. What a finish it was for the player. He's walked off to the side. I think might have run his race. Zuhir will enter along with Miljevic. Really slowing down this one with the changes. There's Matko Jilovic, who came on as a sub in the first leg. It is Mihailovic who makes way for Rida Zuhir. Three attackers off for Montreal after putting in a tremendous shift. Almost all contributing to the goals. I don't think Torres would be credited with an assist, but key build up to that third goal. Nearly applied the finish, but Kone arrived late in the penalty area to smash it home. As the grains of sand continue to fall through the Santos Laguna hourglass in this competition. They desperately want the ball back. They've taken it quickly there with Jesus Osejo. Now Edu Aguirre trying to have a go from a long way out. Just rash in the attack. Almost all night long, going quickly, trying to play forward and fast and direct. Santos Laguna not summoned much of anything. All of a sudden, despite the fact that he's not even coaching tonight, more pressure mounting here on Pedro Caixinha, coach at Santos Laguna. Does have some credit in the bank, having won a trophy for Santos Laguna, albeit 7 years ago. As now looks like Miljevic is going to see a yellow card short order after coming on. But no wins in 6 in the league. Now in the Champions League to not even one of the truly strong MLS sides in terms of their league position a year ago. Montreal can certainly take a step forward here if they put in performances like this, but was 10th in the Eastern Conference a year ago. One of the top spenders either. Just a well-drilled unit. Some real quality as well tonight. As it will be a free kick here to Montreal into the final minute of the 90. The surge that we might have expected from Santos Laguna just never came. Montreal exited that first leg down by a goal to nil. Put in an absolutely sensational performance, and now well on their way to the quarterfinal of CONCACAF Champions League for a probable date with Cruz Azul. Now for the potential intervention as it's through in behind in towards Preciado. Breza coming off his line and finishing the job by poking it out of play. And now some afters as well, as Osejo having it a go at multiple Montreal players, including the keeper. Come on, Miller, appreciative of the efforts, gives him a couple of big high fives. As now Leo Suarez having a go at Breza, who backs away from the trouble. I think Breza is perhaps correctly asking why is there a free kick being lined up here for Santos Laguna when Breza just booted it out of play, and it is indeed a throw-in. Perhaps just some consult there with the VAR. He just heads it away. Santos players thought that might have been a foul. Long throw to come from the right side after settle that one. The player has gone down as Zuhir clears. Miljevic trying to apply some pressure there on Acevedo, who plays it out there to Kamara. Now space to run into, but he just couldn't settle the touch, and it's dangerous back pass there from Medina. Having to just smash it out of play as Acevedo. It looked like it had opened up there. The Montreal substitutes are enjoying life. News of a goal from the other game in the CONCACAF Champions League. Colorado Rapids have completed the turnaround of their own. 1-0 down after the first leg against Comunicaciones. And it's in a VAR review, but for the moment the Rapids 2-0 ahead on the night, 2-1 ahead on aggregate. They'd be through to the quarterfinal. Miller and Miljevic fouled over. Easy win of a free kick there for the born in Miami to Argentine parents of Croatian descent. Think of that what you will. Multicultural influence throughout this team. He's actually playing in Argentina. Argentinos Juniors. Kamara heading down towards Miljevic. Miller. It's Kamara, pokes it away for a throw. And there is the full-time whistle. For a 10th time, an MLS team has beaten Liga MX opposition in a home-and-home tie. Montreal, after being 1-0 down from the first leg in Mexico, come back to the Stade Olympique. And behind goals from Mihailovic, Quioto, and Kone have turned this round of 16 tie round. They have beaten Santos Laguna by 3-0 on the night and 3-1 on aggregate. And no love lost, it would appear, in the coaching staffs for either team. Wilfried Nancy was trying to shake someone's hand, but nobody was interested. Having to get in the way of one of his assistants from starting further trouble. Montreal with a huge result, knocking Liga MX opposition out of this tournament. And what a performance. It was comprehensive from start to finish. This round of 16 tie, it's finished Club de Foot Montreal 3, Santos Laguna 0 on aggregate. Montreal 3, Santos Laguna 1. Montreal to the quarterfinal to face the winner of Cruz Azul and Forge FC. And now time for our full-time highlights. Montreal and Santos Laguna in this round of 16. Santos entering the second leg up by 0-0 from Jesus Osejo. That would change very quickly. 9th minute, Chonier to Quioto, who from an impossible angle directs it towards the post. It caroms in. And Montreal will be on their way, leveling the tie at 1-1. But they would not be done there after that sensational finish from the Honduran. And you can see they're arriving just ahead of Acevedo. But given the bounces on the surface, Quioto had a mountain to climb. Gets Montreal's first goal of this Champions League campaign. And you can see the celebrations. Here would come the second. Miller into Quioto, into Georgi Mihailovic. Making absolutely no mistake with that left-footed finish. And celebrating as Montreal would go ahead in the aggregate tie, a lead they would not relinquish. And Montreal at this point would be 2-1 ahead, then a chance for Mathieu Chonier just before halftime on the volley. Bang! Off the crossbar, but a real threat. Leaping, Acevedo hoping that the frame would come to his aid there. Here would be a huge chance for Montreal to put this away. Torres sliding in Ismael Kone. Acevedo summoning a massive response there. It looked like the chance. It might not come again for Montreal, but come again it would. Torres into Mihailovic, no look. Finding Kone, 3-0 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate, which of course would be the final scoreline. Perfect weight on the ball across from Mihailovic. composed finish from Ismail Kone on his debut. And the Olympic Stadium in rapture. As it would finish Montreal progressing to the quarterfinal of this Champions League. As here are the full-time stats. Again, as was the case at halftime, it looks like both teams were in this. It was competitive. Possession figures, shots. Anyone who watched the 90 minutes would certainly not say that. Santos Laguna struggled to create chances, and that's why they're out of this Champions League. Club de Foot Montreal progress to the quarterfinal to take on the winner of Cruz Azul and Forge FC. That winner to be determined tomorrow night. For now, though, for our tremendous CONCACAF crew, my name is Chris Whittingham. Your full-time result, Club de Foot Montreal 3, Santos Laguna 0 on the night. Club de Foot Montreal progressing on aggregate by 3 goals to 1.